Hey guys, welcome to lesson number 2 in our free tarot course here on the channel. Today we are starting with the major arcana. We are diving in them, exploring them one by one. Today we are going to cover the Fool, the Magician, High Priestess, Empress, Emperor, Hierophant, Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Hermit, and the Wheel of Fortune. So 0 through 10. Get your journal notebook out and be ready to take notes. Now, before we start, the major arcana is translated as big secrets, and there are a few ways to look at the major arcana. There's this thing that's very popular, and basically it's the hero's journey by Joseph Campbell. A lot of people associate the hero's journey and that structure with the major arcana. If you're curious about this, there are a lot of videos online about that. That's a valid perspective and lens through which you can explore the major arcana. I'm not going to speak about this in this particular course because it's going to become way too long, and this is just an introductory course to get you started with reading as soon as possible. So if you're curious, go and research it in your own time. It's a useful and very interesting perspective, and I just want to mention it so that you know about it. So the other way that we can perceive the major arcana is as individual archetypes that are within ourselves, or as certain things that we interact with. But basically the major arcana for me are those deeper mysteries and the larger spiritual lessons, concepts, philosophies, if you will, stages of development of life. There are numerous ways to interpret the major arcana from the tarot. And I want you to draw your own conclusions about that throughout your tarot journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you brief summary of my understanding of each of the cards. And I want you to advise you to take notes of what resonates. And it's very important to form your own opinions, associations about especially the major arcana, because we are all so unique and individual that the Fool for me might mean one thing, and for you might mean a completely different thing, because tarot as a whole, it's very, very related to our personal life experience, and it's something very personal and unique to each reader. So I strongly suggest that you form your own relationship with each card. And I am going to advise you to spend a lot of time with each card individually to form a relationship with it, a personal relationship with it. But yeah, with those things out of the way, let's start with my short, brief summaries of the cards, so that you have a jumping off point to start reading and do your own readings in no time. So we begin with the Fool. The Fool has the number 0 on it, and it is because it can slide between any of the cards. it can stay in the front, it can go in the back. 0 as a number is infinite potential, and it's not restricted by anything. So we are starting with this. The Fool is not restricted by anything. The Fool is associated with beginnings. We are starting a new beginning. There's a clean slate. I don't know. There's a sense of freshness, of innocence, of childlike naivety, if you will. There's a sense of adventure, innocence, like I said, a new start. The Fool is light-hearted and free. He is not burdened by anything. Yes, you can see that he holds some baggage, but he is not burdened by it. He is innocent. My personal association with the Fool is that he is being led by spirit, because I perceive the tarot as a whole through a spiritual lens. And for me, the Fool represents our soul, and our soul being guided on a particular journey. The Fool can represent blind faith, journey, adventure, being guided, but it can also represent trust in spirit, placing your trust in God, in faith, what have you. The Fool can, but the Fool can also be indication of foolishness, naivety, not paying attention where you're going. The Fool can indicate being in La La Land and not paying attention to your surrounding, to your environment, to the situations around you. The Fool can indicate being in your own little bubble and being ignorant. Those are all valid interpretations of the Fool card. Yeah, I think that's basically it. He has his little companion that guides him. Some say that the little dog is actually warning him that he's about to step off of a cliff because he's not really paying attention. The feather on his head, some interpret as life force energy. And basically, I can say that it can indicate that our souls are being planted on this earth to have a human experience. So you can say that the Fool is our soul prior to being incarnated, prior to being born as a human, if you will, if that rocks your boat. So yeah, another thing that I want you to pay attention is the color of the background. Actually, you need to pay attention to the color of the background in any of the tarot cards, not only the majors, in the minors as well, but especially in the majors. Colors in the tarot are very specifically chosen, I feel. And here, as an example with the Fool card, we have the bright yellow color as background, indicating that this card is an active energy. So it's very active. The Fool is going on a journey. So in a nutshell, that's the essence of the Fool. And the other thing, the Fool can be perceived as a crazy person as well. There's a little or a lot of craziness imbued in this archetype. Let's move forward. Here we have the Magician. The Magician is the first card of the tarot deck. Immediately we see the bright yellow background, once again indicating that this is a very active energy. Now, the magician. What is a magician? The magicians are creators. They create realities. But if you think of a street magicians, they are illusionists and manipulators, tricksters even. So let me give you some keywords about the magician. Manifestation, manifester, capability, energy work, drive, instinct, power, will, directing yourself. Mastery over yourself, trickster, illusionist, magic. As above, so below, as within, so without. The ego, the sense of self and who am I, energy work. So basically the magician is the creator of his own reality. He's manipulator of energies. You can notice here on the table in front of him on the depiction, he has a representation of all four elements, meaning that he has control over the four elements. And he has the resources of the four elements. He has control over them. He can use them to create a reality or an illusion. Basically, this is a card of personal power, sense of identity, creating your own reality, using your tools, being determined, resourceful, and using what you've got. It's an active card, a card of personal power, and yeah. Moving forward to the High Priestess card. The High Priestess card is one of my favorite cards in the tarot. She is the keeper of the liminal spaces for me. She stands between now and then. She is the keeper of mysteries. She is an illustration of our own personal connection to the divine, to spirit, God, goddess, what have you. She is our intuition. She is our personal connection to the divine. She is the subconscious. And the magician, they are somewhat of a pair, if you will. This is our conscious experience of ourselves, our ego, our sense of identity, what we can create of ourselves, if you will. And the High Priestess is our subconscious, what lies beneath that consciousness and that perceived reality of who we are in the magician. So she speaks and communicates through symbols, through dreams. She is everything that lies beneath our conscious self of identity. She is between the spirit world and the everyday. She is the keeper of the astral. She has gentle power, but she is powerful. And to be quite honest, as humans, subconsciously we are driven by our subconscious way more than our conscious mind. Even though we like to think that we are creators of our own lives, most often than not, we act on subconscious programming and things that we are not quite aware of. But those things drive our thought patterns, our actions, our relationships, our responses. So the High Priestess is what lies beneath. She is the subconscious. This can also indicate the path of the priestess or the oracle, meaning that you consciously choose to step into this liminal space and act as a mediator between the mundane and the spiritual, and you bridge the gap. It's associated with dreams, visions, all those beautiful, fluid, mystical things. Yeah. Then we go to the Empress card. The Empress and the Emperor. Let's put them side by side. The Empress and the Emperor. There are a few ways to look at those cards, and they are not in the center of the table, and it's driving me crazy. So, the Empress and the Emperor. You can look at those energies as mom and dad, as our parents, or the role that our parents played in our lives, or the ideal version of what a parent is. The divine feminine, the divine masculine, whatever this means for you. What does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be a man? There's a gender principle here. And we are speaking about energy. We are not speaking about physical gender or sex. So the Empress, she is the mother archetype. She is the natural flow of energy. She is the nurturer. She is nature. She is natural. You can think about all of your natural talents, tendencies, etc. She is the mother. She gives birth, and not only to children, physical children, but of ideas, project. She gives life. Then the Emperor. You can look at him as the father figure. He plays, he creates structure, he creates stability, he creates a container for the energy of the Empress, so that the energy of the Empress can flourish and develop itself, grow. It needs structure, it needs boundaries, and it needs a container so that it doesn't spew everywhere, and so that it can progress. The Emperor creates rules, regulations, structure, stability. You can look at the Emperor as the masculine principle. He is the brutal, he has brutal strength, whereas Empress has gentle strength. He creates rules, regulations. He creates the container for the Empress. He is the solid rock of the feminine, if that makes sense. There's another dichotomy that you can observe here. You can interpret the Empress as the natural tendencies or nature, and you can interpret the Emperor as the tendencies and behaviors that we adopt, that were imposed on us, if you will. So I think that that's everything that I want to say about this duo, and I think we need to move forward. And then we meet the Hierophant. Okay, so the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the archetype of the teacher, of the mentor, if you will. The Hierophant embodies the energy of tradition, what tradition means. The Hierophant is all about canon. He speaks about conditioning, learned beliefs, and basically you can see the Hierophant as everything that we've been taught, beliefs, action responses, behavior patterns, traditions, superstitions, religion, everything that's conservative, basically everything that we have been taught by society throughout our childhood, the rules that society places on us from the emperor. Basically, the Hierophant is our teacher and what is pushed down our throats. It can be both good or bad, positive or negative. All of the cards in the tarot are both positive and negative. They're not only one way or the other. But it's a next step in our journey, in our evolution. The Hierophant is a very interesting card because it holds power. Those you can interpret it as those people or organizations, even corporations, that hold power over our lives, over ourselves, what they want us to do, what they're teaching us. And there's a very important question that each and every one of us should ask ourselves when we meet the Hierophant is, are those beliefs mine? Are they truly aligning with my soul, with my moral? The Hierophant asks for deep self-revaluation when we meet him. And you should never fully trust a teaching, a religion, a corporation. You should always think for yourself. And yeah, moving forward, the Lovers. So basically, in our state of development, with the Fool, we have incarnated, we have learned who we are with the Magician, our sense of self, we have explored the subconscious, our personal connection to the divine. We've met our mother and father, or our personal natural talents or gifts. We have learned how to structure them, how to nourish them in a controlled manner, if you will. We have faced the society and their limits and their beliefs. And now we move to the Lover's card. The Lover's card is all about relationships, but this doesn't indicate only romantic relationships. It indicates relationships with everything in our life, how we relate to those that are outside of us, with the external world. The Lover's card for me also speak about commitment and commitments that we make towards ourselves, to other people, to jobs, to relationships, what have you. So basically, the Lover's card speak about relation to something external of ourselves and commitment, and the connections that we form with people, things, objects, places, what have you. So the connections, the relationships that we form with things outside of ourselves. The Lover's card also speak about choice and the choices that we make, and the fact that we have free will, even if sometimes it doesn't feel like this, especially in terms of familial connections and relationship with your family members. In love, especially, sometimes we feel that we don't control who we fall in love with, but there's always a choice, and the Lover's cards comes up to remind us about that freedom of choice, and to reflect upon our relationships to things, people, etc., and our connections to them and our commitments. The other thing that I want to mention for the Lover's card is seeing your true self through your relationships with others. So the Lover's card can act as a personal mirror. So It can point towards reflecting on why you are triggered in certain situations and certain relationships, either to things, situations, people, etc. So yeah, that's everything that I want to say about the Lover's card. The Chariot. We love the Chariot card. Oh, I'm getting a bit tired. Let me just have a sip of water. And we can move forward. So, the Chariot. The Chariot is a very interesting card, in my opinion. Once again, the background is this bright yellow, indicating that this card is very active in its energy. So the Chariot is basically you are a grown up now. You have learned about relationships, about your potential, etc. All of the things that we already spoke about. Now is time to take charge of yourself and your path. This is what the Chariot is all about, taking charge of yourself and your path. The Chariot card is speaking about your advantage. It indicates a warrior. It indicates a movement. It indicates you going after your desires. It indicates your determination, willpower. It also indicates that you have the upper hand and that you can be successful and victorious. But in order to do so, you have to balance the opposites of your own person, meaning the opposites: the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, and the Lovers. And if you want to be successful in life, in your journey, you have to master all of the previous lessons up to this point. But yeah, the Chariot may also indicate travel, a vehicle, all of those mundane things as well. But it's basically speaking about taking charge of your life, of yourself, and being divinely guided, because you can see on his head there are stars, so guided by the stars. Oh, and the other thing, in the depiction, the actual chariot appears to be made of stone and not moving forward. And there's the other thing about this card, in my personal opinion, is that you need to use your willpower in order to move forward. The movement itself won't happen without your engagement and without your initiation of it. So you have to play an active role in your life in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve, basically. But the Chariot is also a warrior, and that's important. Moving forward to the next card, which is the Strength card in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. The Strength card, once again, bright yellow background. It's an active energy. And the Strength, it's a bit self-explanatory. Strength meaning strength. But it also speaks about our inner gentle strength. It's not all about brutal force or aggression. None of that. It's about strength of character, resilience, and being compassionate. And being strong on the inside, and this strength projecting externally, if you will. Being so strong that you are able to face your inner demons, your inner beasts, and not get aggressive towards them, but be compassionate and actually tame them through compassion, love, and self-acceptance. So yeah, this is the Strength card. Then we move to the Hermit. This is one of my favorite cards in the tarot. So the Hermit card is the archetype of the mystic, of the seeker, the spiritual seeker, the person that is tired of the mundane journey, that suddenly has that itch to know what's more to life than just the everyday normal existence. So you become the hermit by going on this deep spiritual quest, this deep inner exploration of what's more to life than what I've already seen. So the hermit is the mystic, the spiritual seeker, the person that goes on a inner journey. He is looking for the truth beneath the mundane everyday existence and reality. He starts to recognize patterns and things are not what they seem to be. It's a quest for wisdom, for truth. It's a mystical exploration. The hermit also speaks about going within, seclusion, being by yourself, because this inner quest, it's not a social event. It's something that one does by himself or herself. What I have here in my notes is alone but not lonely, because you are deeply fulfilled by the seeking, by the journey itself. The background is this grayish blue, indicating night, I believe, and it speaks about the quest that we do in the dark, basically. It's not for others to see, it's just for ourselves. And then we arrive to the last card in today's lessons that we are going to explore today. And this is the Wheel of Fortune. This is a very, very curious card, in my opinion. Let me just drink a little bit more water. Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. Some say that this is a card speaking about karma. I don't agree. For me, the Wheel of Fortune is all about the cyclical nature of our lives, of our existence, meaning what comes around goes around. The Wheel of Fortune speaks about cycles and that we exist in a constant state of change, and things are never truly stagnant, even if they appear to be. The wheel is constantly turning. One day you have a terrible, shitty experience, shitty day, and the next day things may turn around and your experience could change drastically, and you may find that you are the happiest person on earth, if you will. Basically, it's all about the turning point, cycles. And the other thing that I want to explore here with the Wheel of Fortune is the concept of luck. Is luck something that we stumble upon, or is luck something that we create ourselves? And I want you to really sit down and think about this. Can I create my own luck, or is it something that is destined? And the other thing is that, can we change? Can we consciously participate in the turning of the wheel? So, for example, if you are stuck, if you think that you're stuck in a bad relationship and you feel miserable, you feel out of luck, nothing goes your way, your relationship is shitty, your job is shitty, do you just stay there and wish that your circumstances and that your life will magically change? Or can you actively engage in such a way that you turn the wheel and you create a better circumstances for yourself? Those are things that are very important to contemplate when we see the wheel of fortune. What is fortune, first and foremost? And yeah, contemplate the cyclical nature of your life, of human existence, and change. So yeah, that's all that I have to say about the wheel of fortune. And with this, our lesson today is completed. I hope that you found this useful. I think that those short interpretations of the major arcana are going to be enough of a jumping off point so that you can start reading the cards right after the course. But I think that those interpretations that we just discussed are also good enough so that you can sit down with the cards, journal about what I just spoke about, and draw your own conclusions about the archetypes. Once again, I advise you, sit with each card. Those are very big, huge energies, and try to build a personal connection and relationships to each of them. See how they fit in your own personal life, in your own personal life experience. So yeah, that's your homework for this lesson. Try and create personal connection to each of those 11 cards, 11 archetypes. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to go and get a glass of water, and I'm going to record the next lesson on the rest of the major arcana cards. So do your homework, don't be lazy, and I'll see you in the next one.